difference between less lethal launchers and firearms in terms of reliability, safety, and malfunctions. I think risk management and risk mitigation is very important with these. Let's talk about it. So in this video, I just wanted to talk about a pretty important topic. We all have different types of tools that we use, and we make decisions based on our own personal needs. And there are weapons which are air-powered, which people choose, and then there are firearms. And a lot of people may or may not be able to legally own a firearm or to have it in your state. It may be very difficult legally. So you may choose not to. You may have small children in your home. You don't want to have a firearm, and you choose to go with air-powered launchers. And I'm going to call these, to me, there's no difference between an air-powered launcher and an air gun. They're all the same, although I think some folks use the term air gun when they want to talk about higher PSI, PCP, pre-charged pneumatic launchers, which are much more powerful and able to deliver higher joules and can be more deadly. But I just view it as a continuum of in the air power spectrum. And just like there's firearms and there's different calibers and there's a spectrum of force, there's also a spectrum of force on the air gun side as well. So I'm talking just blanket terms air gun today, and I'm talking blanket terms firearm. And in general, the reason why it's a challenge in some cases to use air guns is because they can leak, and because a single O-ring, no matter how tiny, if it leaks and you lose air, you're done. If you've got your launcher ready to go and it's pierced and you're ready to defend, but there's an air leak in your mag or there's an air leak somewhere else in your launcher, the weakest link is wherever that O-ring is that leaks. And when that happens, you essentially have a blunt object that is useless. It will not fire, or it will fire progressively weaker and weaker as the air leaks out. That is a really bad situation, and it's something that you need to try to proactively avoid, mitigate the risk, keep your O-rings in the best shape possible. These are CO2-based launchers that I'm using here. They use 12 grams CO2, and that works reasonably well. And these can be serviced quite routinely, and that's not really a major problem. But if you're using larger tools that are air-powered and you're then using CO2 that's really large carts, you're asking for more trouble because of various reasons that I've talked about before, and I won't talk about those here, but you can check out my video. I have one on rapid gas decompression. It's a very important topic that you need to keep in mind. So the bottom line is you want to mitigate risk. You want these to avoid leak at all possible, because a leak here, and I've had leaks before, and I've had leaks where there was a problem with the CO2 fill nipple and I had a leak, but I've never really blown an O-ring or had one blow out because I do routine maintenance and I keep these things in top shape. But if you lose air, you completely lose function with these. Whereas with the firearm, sure, everyone's argument is that you can have malfunctions, but most malfunctions can be cleared. Whether it's a jam or a stovepipe or a misfire, almost anything you can do, there is a routine that you can do. You can drop your mag, you can rack your slide, you can clear your malfunction, you can reload, and you're back in the fight. So the firearm is infinitely easier and faster to reload and reuse. But you're using this in a life and death situation when seconds count. So with that caveat, you should be using these in a situation that is not a life and death situation. So seconds may not count, but once you've blown an O-ring, you're done. So you're then in a fist fight, or you're running, or you're facing whatever weapon they have. With your firearm, you're a little bit safer terms. But there's a lot of folks that want to equate these and say they're equal, you can treat them the same way. I completely disagree on that. You have to maintain these much more rigorously, and especially your O-ring maintenance. It has to be meticulous. You have to avoid large CO2s, yet you have to not do crazy mods that are going to sacrifice function, things that are going to cause you to have a problem. And it's very unpredictable. I've done videos on these talking about the fact that they are not plug and play. Every little change that you make in this mechanical system can cause an error and cause a problem. And if it goes offline, it's offline. Whereas with the firearm, one piece of ammo misfires or misfeeds, you can fix that, and hopefully all of your box of ammo is not bad, so the others in the mag will fire just fine and you'll be back in the fight. So we're talking apples and oranges between these, so I don't like to see people conflating them together. And I want people to always realize that with the air guns, you need to be extra careful, extra meticulous, do your repair, and avoid crazy mods, avoid large CO2s, do what you need to do to keep them running at top level. These little things right here could mean the difference between success or failure when it comes to using something like a TCP or an FSC or any air-powered launcher. The O-ring is simply a piece of polymer, elastomer. It's very permeable, so it can be infiltrated by gas or liquid, especially things like hydrogen and carbon dioxide. It can get inside this elastomer, and when it does, and the pressure changes, and you pull the trigger, each shot, the pressure is going to drop. There's going to be something called rapid gas decompression, and it's going to then burst back out of the elastomer. So it depends on how much gets in, what durometer and strength of and type of O-ring that you use. There's so many variables in terms of the O-ring composition, and so it's really important that you understand your O-rings. Sure, you can upgrade O-rings to a certain extent, but these mechanical systems are designed to operate with certain O-rings within a certain parameter. You can upgrade in some cases to a little higher durometer, a little stiffer, a little more resilient to rapid gas decompression, but your standard ones are obviously very sensitive and they blow very easily. This is just something that you can't avoid, something you just need to be aware of. And an O-ring, something so simple and so small, can be the difference between success and failure. Don't let your launcher fail on you because of the way you maintain it. Stay within the specs of what it can tolerate. And if you make any changes, you're going to have to do extensive testing just to verify. And that's going to be an N of 1. That's going to be what you determined with your launcher and your O-ring on that given day. Another person may have a very different result. So this is not a science. This is a pseudoscience that everyone is talking about. But when it comes to O-rings, don't play around with them. Be aware that this is rate limiting. It is a concern, and it's not trivial. Mitigate risk, be smart. Everybody just take care. I hope this is a message that you understand. Comment below, let me know if you agree or disagree. I really don't care if you agree or disagree. Comment if you like this video, like it. If you dislike this video, dislike it. Let me know how you feel, because I like to have a dialogue and I want to talk about these topics. But I think what I just explained to you is very straightforward, very logical. So let me hear from you. In the meantime, everybody just take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Hello, buddy.